Test, test. What's up? How's it going? Are we ready for this extreme session today? Probably we are. It's a basic exercise today. We can do it. I believe. I believe in our abilities here. So there's this little thing, which is the lasagna exercise. And I guess I need to do this. Probably I wouldn't even do this, but I guess I need to do this in order to get through it and get to the next exercises. So let's push through. Hope it will be still fun. And I don't know how this site works nowadays, this awesome challenge website, but previously the main track exercises, you've got feedback from real mentors on them, and I hope we get some feedback too here at some point when we finish it. Yeah, I've skimmed through it. Basically, it's creating 4 methods or so and the constant, and you will learn about basics. And for exercism, basics are variables, constants, classes, classes with methods, calling classes with methods. I believe we can really do this. And I mean, it's a good exercise to test our RSpec template that I created with blood and sweat 1 week ago or something. And this is it. this is in the next days here, and this is the exercise. We can start a timer. We don't need the Pomodoro thing. Oh, why is it so loud? Let's see, what's with my sound here? Probably something, okay. I don't trust anything when streaming because there are so many things that go wrong, always. And cool, so we are already like 40 seconds in, but before we dive in, like really quickly, what do I mean by extreme TDD? I'm a bit extreme actually, saying it's extreme TDD. It's just, there is a book, Extreme Programming, and there is a guy, Ken Beck, and he writes books, and he wrote this book, TDD, by example, and Extreme Programming. And this is a short way to say that we will be doing TDD by the book. So what's TDD by the book? The thing that I so often mention. It's something that's not like the common coding challenge. The common coding challenge either has tests pre-written that you don't see, or like in Exercism, for example, it has tests pre-written that you see. But they are already there, right? When you write code, you don't have tests pre-written for you in like 99.5% of the companies you will be working in. So you need to think about the tests yourself. You need to test drive your code. You need to think about the edge cases yourself and about everything around them, right? So when you do TDD by the book, you first write a test, then you run the test to see it fail, write a failing test, then you make the test pass, and by the book, you take the simplest, like even you hard code the value just to see it green. And apparently it gives you some flow that's very helpful. By the way, you write a failing test. Why? Because sometimes this is like testing your tests. Sometimes you will write a test where you think, yeah, this is a test that should test something, but actually your assumption is wrong and you have written a test that's actually not even failing. It's actually not even testing the thing that you want to test. So this is kind of an important step. Make it pass. It's an architectural thing. It makes your design better, lets you not over-engineer things, and it probably has many more well thought out reasons why you should do this. And then you have your ugly hard-coded value in there, or like you made the test pass like in the simplest possible way, and then you go and refactor. And refactoring is basically the third step in the flow, and it's kind of making your code better, removing duplication. So for Kent Beck, everything is basically like a hard-coded value is a type of duplication, and you remove it by introducing some dynamic values, right? So much about TDD. This is what we will be doing now in the exercise. And let's get it going, right? Let's remove this thing here, if this is possible. We need this here, actually. where is it? The download thing. We can download it. I will do the whole flow from the beginning, as you can see, so that you see this template, this RSpec template that I mentioned, because some people will want to do this exercise with RSpec, but Exercism gives you Minitest. And this is like a tiny thing, actually. It's just a really tiny thing. We can actually probably copy the whole file, and we can open the Lasagna thing up. We can call it Lasagna spec. Edit. And it has a basic test in it, just to see that things work like at all. Here we can require the lasagna and the lasagna class, and we can run the test already, our first test. That's a good time from nothing to a passing test. Alright, do we even have this class? Yeah, we already have this class. Ay. So yeah, I mean, in TDD, by the book, you don't have even methods pre-written, right? But you totally can. Yeah, since there are a lot of methods, let's maybe even do this side by side. But our template works. That's nice to hear and to see. And we don't look at the Minitest tests. Like, we could open this file here, but this is something we don't want to do right now. We want to test drive it ourselves, and then after finishing the thing, we want to see if we missed some edge cases or if we got pretty close to the final solution. We will then also run the Minitest test and see if they all pass with our kind of test. So that's pretty cool, hopefully. And basically we can probably even do this here, and probably we can even do this here. I'm not sure if this gets a little bit too packed here. Let's try. Very symbolic, right? The specs on the left, the actual code on the right. We go from left to right. And the first test already works, so we can see the first kind of task is to define a constant which, yeah, probably this is a little bit annoying because my presets have these here, but here they are single quotes and I need double quotes. Need to change the template here at this point. Yeah. So Lasagna has an expected oven time, and then the expected oven time is 40 minutes. So expect lasagna expected oven time, expected minutes. I'm looking at the exercise in oven to equal 40. Why not 42? This is really weird. Like, if you have an example with 40, most of programmer examples are actually 42. Now we want to run the test. We see it fails. That's awesome. You make it green. And it's such a simple thing that we can't even make it like stupid simple. It's already stupid simple, right? So now we rerun the tests. Nothing to refactor here. We could make sure that we don't get like values less than like 5 minutes or something, but yeah, it doesn't really make, or 0 minutes. You could also have a lasagna with like 1 minute cooking time, right? So it shouldn't be 0. Or maybe it's a lasagna that doesn't need oven time, then it's 0. But then all of this doesn't make sense. In any case, it seems like this lasagna, this particular class, has a constant that's not configurable, that's just 40 forever and ever, and it's fine. We don't need to test any edge cases, I think. I hope we are through step 1. Step 2, we have remaining minutes in oven, so we get some minutes passed, and we need to calculate the remaining minutes. So lasagna calculates. You need a verb after it, and it always helps me to say the thing that's described first, and then from there I can find the right verb to write date block or context or something. And then it calculates the remaining minutes in oven. And we expect the lasagna remaining minutes in oven 30 to equal, like you pass, what's pass here? Pass are minutes that the lasagna was already in the oven, so we expect 10 minutes here, right? That the remaining minutes are 10. And we can already run the tests. We will see that what happened here. It passed. No, it didn't. Something weird happened. But first of all, we don't have any lasagna at all. Like, how is this supposed to be working, right? So we need to create a lasagna first. We need to say lasagna new. So the new lasagna gets initialized with the 40 minutes of expected time in oven. And from here, we can say actual minutes in oven minus, or better, if we apply some math knowledge from our youth, we know that the bigger value should come first, unless it's longer in the oven. Then we get a minus value. Okay, let's not jump into it right now. Let's see. You see, I jumped over the important step of, or in this case, maybe not so important, but in TDD, you would first do this, theoretically, especially when you're working on big apps. This is pretty helpful, by the way. So just taking the simplest value there in a big complex app sometimes is pretty cool, because then you have it there, you know this is working, all good, and now you're making the steps to make it work. And often you will write new tests then to make it work and the new functionality. But here this works. However, we will do a little bit more of testing for this one. And when you test a particular method, in RSpec you can do this. You can start with a hash and then continue with the method name, and this is basically a sign for a kind of a convention for an instance method, and this is our name of the instance method. So now we do a couple of tests here, and now it says lasagna remaining minutes in oven method calculates remaining minutes in oven. This is even too much now. Calculates remaining minutes. I don't know the right word right now, but it handles values like this, maybe smaller and equal to 0, which maybe we need to handle, maybe not. This is like a personal preference at this point. But let's write it down, and then it returns a negative value for overcooked lasagna. And then the negative value, maybe Exercism expects something different there. You could throw an exception, raise an exception there, right? We will just return a negative value. That's our expectation, our lazy expectation, right? So if it's 50 minutes, or let's do 55, in the oven, then it will equal minus 15. And this is where TDD becomes like less of this flowy thing, right? When you start test edge cases and like weird values. But it's a part. It's a part of the refactoring, basically. I would suggest. How do we handle values smaller or equal to 0? It means that it was less time than 0 minutes or 0 minutes in the oven. So we can, if we think about it like this, we can say it still needs 40 minutes in the oven, right? This makes sense? And here we can even say we return for the overcooked lasagna, we can say we return maybe 0. Maybe this makes even more sense. Because at this point, it doesn't give us information then about like how many minutes it's already like overcooked, but actually what we need to know probably is that it should go, it's like there are no remaining minutes, right? This is what the method is trying to solve for us. There's less and less space here. Maybe we can disable this thing. To win a little bit of space. Okay, then we can have some extra logic here. Then we can say return 0 if like the actual, yeah, we need to win some space here. Actual minutes. Actual minutes are greater or equal expected minutes. So then we say it's over. And we return 40 always if actual minutes are smaller or equal to expected minutes. No, smaller or equal to 0. I think that's fine. We expect then here actually that remaining minutes in oven, if you pass 0 or handles 0 minutes, it's a nicer frame, right? Nicer name. Return actually always returns the expected minutes, right? Constant. I mean, this is, we could say expected minutes constant. But it's already a little bit too low level, right? Returns expected cooking time. Maybe like this. And then here it returns also expected cooking time for negative values, right? Yeah, it's okay to admit that you like overcooked lasagna, Campbell. Me too, actually. But at some point, we need to get it out there. So the expected lasagna remaining. Should we run the test now? Returns. This is what I was looking for. Returns 0 for over 0 minutes. Yeah. Run the test. I'm not getting notifications here in this software about chat. So if you see that I'm slow at responding for now, sorry for that. And we get an error here. Actual minutes. It doesn't like our actual minutes. Ah, okay. I forgot to change it here. Let's try again. Maybe this time. Expected. I mean, first of all, we need to return the expected time. But yeah, our expectation is just wrong. What should we expect here to not break our test in future? We probably should expect this thing here in case it changes. Now we can run the test again. Yeah, this display situation here is probably a bit packed, I admit. We will find a solution for that at some point in life. We can do just a little bit the fonts maybe. Let me know if this is working. Yeah, it doesn't make it much nicer. But in Ruby we can do crazy things with breaking out our stuff. Now I'm really going crazy here, right? Maybe we can get our fonts back so that it doesn't get too ugly here. Okay, one last time. One last try. Maybe like this. Okay, bear with me, bear with me. I think we have this one nailed, hopefully. We will see what Exercism actually expects from us in the end. Task 3. So we want to calculate the preparation time in minutes. So how long did we really take for the lasagna in the end? And it takes a value of minutes and calculates based on how many layers you have how many minutes preparation time you had there. Okay. That should be doable as well, right? We can say again, it's an instance method. We just copy it over and say the preparation time in minutes. It calculates the time. It's a beautiful name, I know, but of the it block. And we expect the lasagna preparation time in minutes. Let's take the example from the task and say 2 = 4. This means we kind of now maybe we can apply our hardcore TDD thing and say, give us 4. And we can run all the tests actually. We can always run all the tests because we have so few tests and they run in 18 milliseconds. So we can always run them, all of them, not like it's your day job where you're sitting there for a year. Just to see like one little test suite running. Not at my current job, by the way. Even better, like this would be the next step, right? Like 2 times 2. Oh, sorry. It will still work, but this is the first refactoring step here, right? Tiny steps. How tiny should the steps be? As tiny as they fit in your head. Like if this makes you struggle, then you should work in this tiny of a step. If not, you can take the value and assign a variable to it, because as we can see also here, we will need to set, I think we will need to set the number of layers somewhere. And I mean, we need to set it somewhere anyway, right? Like the first idea would be to say it's an instance variable, right? And we could have a test for that actually and say, or it's still part of the refactoring right now. By the way, we do this awesome trick here. We have here our private methods, and initialize is a private method, turns out. And in initialize we can say layers, and we can set them to 2. Or even better, we could say like layers. Great. And give it a default value. So maybe something like this. I'm not sure where this exercise is going. You will probably also want to say something like attribute reader layers, and then you can use it inside the instance, and then it's layers times layers, which is pretty bad and it won't even work probably. Oh wait, we don't initialize the layers. We initialize. Okay, this is the stupid thing here that I was thinking about. We actually have more like a constant, which is minutes per layer, right? Layers time, like Michael Campbell One more Campbell, two Campbells. Campbell M with 2L and an M at the end, and then Michael Campbell 2020 at the end. Anyway, nice. Are you doing this often? Like you change your username often, or? It looks good. I mean, first one was shorter, but then the second one is like. Anyway, you probably didn't want feedback on that. Layers time per layer. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Thanks for bringing it back. So minutes per layer. Oh yeah. Yeah, I also don't get like my username, my wanted username always, because rich is taken. But rich 5 works most of the time. Cool, so let's try this once again. Okay, we could have also run the whole thing here, actually, right? But this shouldn't fail, like, ever. And then, cool, last one. Okay, if we think really quickly, like, what can go wrong here? If we get, like, 0 or less layers, I mean, it's basically the same thing as here, right? If we get like certain values, we have defaults. And if we get, what else can go wrong? Yeah, if we get like thousand layers, then we have 2000 minutes. Maybe there is a limit on layers, a logical limit. But yeah, I don't want to entitle myself to decide an upper limit. Maybe you have like tiny 1 millimeter layer there. Or I don't know. Maybe it's a game and then you have as many layers as you want, right? Or it's a dream or whatever. I dream of many layers of lasagna. So let's handle the case where we get like 0. Okay, if we get 0, then it's minutes per layer times 0, so it's fine. Can still test it. But then if we get a negative amount, then it's still 0 minutes, I would say, from a logical. Unless you travel in time, then you can also have negative time amounts, but it returns 0 for prep time smaller equals 0, right? And then we say it, oh no, we already have the it, and we say expect lasagna preparation time in minutes 0 to equal 0, and then -3 to equal 0. Now it should hopefully fail. Okay. And we can say something like return 0 if layers smaller than 0. And then the case if it's 0, it should be handled by 0 times layers. times minutes, and then we already have the thing. And last method here, the total time in minutes. And the total time in minutes takes like number of layers and actual minutes in oven. So basically it combines these two and sums them up, right? It's like maybe you have a recipe website where this could also be a thing to calculate, right? So it sums up prep, prep, and remaining times. And we say that we expect, again, we can take this example here, right? We can copy paste it. I mean, this is also what you would do at work, right? You've got your requirements from the product owner or something, and then you just copy it. Okay, the product owner won't write like this kind of tests or code stuff, but the QA guy might give you an end-to-end test or something, and then you can just copy things over. We didn't expect anything yet, so we should expect something, and we expect it to be 26, right? We run it. This is like even more stupid to run it because it even raises per default. So yeah, again, just to make the point here, I won't do this in future anymore, but since we talked today, oh, now there is like the chat is overlapping with the IDE. If you guys chat even more, then we won't see anything anymore, right? But I can't put it here, which will make it more a little bit uglier in terms of UX, but you will see this beautiful check mark. Okay, so again, we want to have the sum here, right? Remove the application. And how do we do this? We say remaining minutes in oven pass the actual minutes and add preparation and time in minutes. Can we also break this one up here? No, this won't work. But we could do maybe something like this. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how to handle this actually. Like, you want to have the task here or what's currently happening. and you want to have both code files here, but we have to endure this now, kind of. And we can pass the number of layers here and see if this still works. Or, yeah, if this still works. So this is green, then the only thing left here is to see if here are any edge cases. That's interesting. I mean, if this is kind of an integration test now, right, between the different methods, kind of. Gives correct sum for 0 layers. Yeah, this is kind of tricky now, right? Because if it's 0 layers, no, it's not tricky. If it's 0 layers, it's 0 preparation time, but it's also not a real lasagna then. So Michael suggests a horizontal split instead of a vertical. That could work. I think still this is maybe more readable. We can mess it up. We can try to mess it up, right? We have basically then maybe like one test per one, like space for one test per file. And then this kind of looks a little bit empty. Right? So we could do something like this to make it nicer. I don't know. I'm not sure what you prefer. Oh. It's a little bit, it struggles a little bit with responsiveness when I zoom in, but it's fine. So yeah, actually, like a lasagna with 0 layers, it's not a real lasagna. But then it's the question, like, did you prepare the layers? Is this important? Or did someone else prepare the layers? I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. How to handle like 0 layers. I would say we say it's like we expect 20 minutes according to our current logic. And then the other edge case would be we have like, let's say 4 layers, and actual minutes in oven are, yeah, we could again say like minus, I don't know. Yeah, but this also doesn't probably make sense. So it was 0, it wasn't in the oven yet, so we had 8 minutes of preparation of total time so far, right? We will see how we should have handled it in a second. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have some logic. No. Sure. I mean, if it was like 0 minutes in the oven, then we have 14 minutes more to go, and it makes a total of 48 minutes. This makes sense. So what do you say, Michael? The logic seems fine. If you put in an empty pan, 0 layers, for 20 minutes, it seems 20 minutes is a reasonable amount of total time. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. I mean, I would say we've done the task, kind of. We can maybe remove this one here. We probably don't need this anymore. And we can remove this probably as well. And now we can check what the Minitest tests say from Exercism themselves. Probably they tell us something different, right? And we have just 2 failures out of how many? 5 tests or something? 6? And we don't get the right total time in minutes. We get 12 minutes. Okay, probably I didn't have the task right. We want the total of minutes of current work. And current work is not remaining minutes in oven, but actual minutes in oven, right? Was that actual minutes in oven? This makes sense again, actually. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's late here in Barcelona. So number of layers, actual minutes in oven. Yeah, this still makes sense because it's like, this is a bad test. Because this shoot us in the foot. We assume this is right, but then it's actually right in both cases because it's like half, half, and then it's the same number. And same here, right? But this is our standard test, we can leave it like that. Let's run our test. Or now I've run the Lasagna, like the Minitest tests. And here I will run our test one more time. And it passed through. Yeah, unbelievable. We've done it. And let's maybe check one more time what they test. I mean, we kind of over-tested. We were awesome engineers because we looked at edge cases and handled, like, over-engineered everything. But our software is now the highest amount of being changeable, and it's like bulletproof, and it will work forever and ever. We have the best lasagna, specs and tests and RB. We will submit this as a solution, see what we get as feedback, if at all. I think we should still get feedback on that. And we will next tackle tomorrow, maybe for sure this one, maybe I will start open sourcing our RSpec free Ruby cones repository. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Michael for helping me out there. Let's put this one here. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Do a lot of TDD and have fun, of course.